Afro Puffy and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about how I broke up with my boyfriend and how we're both doing surprisingly okay. I recently broke up with my boyfriend. It surprisingly went okay. The way we met was at work. Obviously he's my coworker. We're going to name this coworker Bob because this guy deserves his anonymity. He's anonymous. He's anonymous. He deserves to be anonymous. Anyways, the way that we met was that he came to my department in the store that I work at, and he asked where he was asking where a specific object was gonna go. It's like, do you know where this goes? I had absolutely no idea. In of 1 month, I decided to be a little flirt, and I said, oh, I guess he's not gonna give me his number, but it's cool, whatever. He comes back like 5 minutes later and says, oh yeah, so while you're at it, you know, since I'm cute and whatever, why don't I get your number? It was something smooth like that, right? I'm just completely just making my day, just like, oh, this cute guy is talking to me, and I made it happen. Look at me. And we ended up hanging out either that day or the day after, and that was like our first time hanging out. He had mentioned before we even went in the car, I'm a good lover and I'm a good kisser. And when we first hung out, it was in his car, and we talked a little bit. He made me laugh so hard. For all those potential boos watching, if you can make me laugh extremely hard to the point that I can't breathe, that is one of the top qualities that I look for. Don't get me wrong, that's not the only thing. Don't get too excited if you're just all you have going for you is that you're funny. All I'm saying is that being funny, on top of me being physically attracted to you, on top of, you know, whatever other wonderful qualities that men can have that I can talk about in another video, you know, that's something that I'm attracted to. Okay, so he made me laugh. We were really vibing, and we ended up kissing, and I felt something. Okay? I felt something. And we ended up, that's where the drama started. That's where it all ended up crazy for me, because we ended up dating at that very spot. I said, what are we? Should we just be friends? He said, let's see where this goes. And honestly, I don't know why I didn't take that as a sign, but here we are. If somebody mentions that they're a good kisser and a good lover, it's gonna have a girl wondering. Have a girl curious. Well, what is it like kissing you? What is it like getting loved up on by you? You know? This was the most extreme way of dating that I had ever done. My last relationship, which was what I consider my first boyfriend / my most long-term relationship, my first official relationship, we started out as friends. And that worked for me, and we had a foundation, and I constantly, unfortunately, we're not together anymore, and I'm still healing from it, but I am constantly comparing other people to my ex, because homeboy set the standards up pretty high. You know, we weren't perfect, but I felt myself comparing how I went about a relationship with my ex versus how I was going to go about a relationship with this guy. First of all, this guy was younger than me. I am 23. He was about 19 turning 20 this year. So not enough of an age difference where it's like, oh my gosh, Sophia, you're a freaking creep. Just enough where it's like, there is a difference, but is it noticeable? And the answer is yes. The answer is definitely yes. As I dated him for that month and a half, I could tell the difference in maturity okay? First of all, the guy was a sweet guy. I'm not going to say anything bad, terrible, or bash him. That's not the goal of this video. The goal of this video is to talk about my experience and what I learned from it. Dating my coworker. First time dating a coworker, seriously, and dating somebody younger than me. And dating somebody on the spot, not even getting to know them. It was extremely terrifying. I only went along with it because this guy had absolutely nothing to say on the point of let's be friends first. He was just very for let's see where this goes. And the idea of spontaneity, if that's how you say it, being spontaneous, just being adventurous, me being me, was just like, why not? Let's see where this goes. Because I was literally, I didn't see why not, I guess. I was still figuring it out. And I was also trying to get over my ex. That relationship that ended in February. This was like a few months down the line where you could still, the wound was still there, sort of kind of healing. And that was probably another thing that affected the relationship that it lasted so short. But what our relationship was like the few times that we were together, it was a roller coaster, okay? He had a car. I don't have a car. And for me, if I'm going to be with someone, you need to have a car because we both can't be carless. Unless we're neighbors, you know, it's going to be hard to see each other. I'm not for, you know, all of us struggling on public transportation. This is not DC. We're not in DC. We're currently in Maryland. And the public transportation that we have over here is not like the metro, okay? It's a bit slower. Alright, so if you got a car, you got a car. Our first date, he took me to this beach, and that probably, you know, upped my standards. First expectations kind of blew me away because I love the water. I love the water, and there were a ton of untouched seashells, like unbroken seashells, like Ocean City, Virginia Beach. I've been there. Beautiful areas, but all broken shells. Why? Because a bunch of people are over there. At that beach, there was practically nobody there, and it was so fun. It was so fun. We did a little hiking, sightseeing, looking at all these shells and a bunch of stuff. After that date, which I was just glowing from because I had a bunch of seashells that I collected, and I collect seashells and I collect rocks, and eventually I'll be collecting crystals as well. The last time I went to a beach, it was a very touching, personal moment for me. That it was a very special moment for me that I will talk about in another video eventually. So I just found that amazing that, you know, this guy took me somewhere that was so close to my heart and he didn't even know, you know. I just found that to be incredible. So we ended up doing something after that date in the car that I was not comfortable with. No, it was not sex. But choose your imagination. There's only but so many things you can pick from. It involves me putting my mouth around something. And it was my first time doing it, and I am not, I don't understand the hype about it. I don't like it. I didn't know what I was doing. And I would never do it again. I don't like it. It's not for me. I don't see how it's fulfilling on my side at all. It tastes like nothing. Anyways, it could have been a red flag to me that he couldn't see that I was uncomfortable, that I wasn't sure. It was like he didn't know me well enough to be like, well, if you're not comfortable, I don't want to proceed. It was just, you know, just do it sort of thing. This guy was younger than me, and I could feel the difference in emotional maturity. I could feel the difference in intellectual maturity. I could feel the difference on many different levels. I would constantly, even being in the relationship with him, though I did have some fun moments, like I felt like, you know, I would be acting his age around him. I felt like I had to dumb myself down a little bit. I didn't feel like we were on the same level. I'm not saying that I'm better than him. I'm saying that I felt like he didn't challenge me enough. That he didn't challenge me mentally. He didn't inspire me. I felt like I was lowering my standards. I didn't have anything to go off of, no foundation, because we decided to date on the spot, and that was where the flaw was. I was figuring there is a difference between being physically attracted to somebody and liking somebody, and I was stuck in the middle, not knowing where I was because there was no foundation. I did not get to know him first. I was literally getting to know him in that relationship, and I was finding out things that I found out I did not vibe with all the way, that I was not comfortable with, things that we didn't have a lot in common. I found that when I text him, that I would send paragraphs and he would send single sentences. And it's like, maybe he's not a good texter. Talking in person, we would talk. That's not the problem. He was funny, he'd make me laugh, but I felt like we didn't talk deep enough. We didn't talk about like serious, deep topics. Everything was mostly surface level stuff, on the surface, stuff that didn't mentally challenge me enough, that didn't inspire me. And I felt like I was more mature than him. I felt like when it came to me wanting to go to him for advice or being troubled, that it didn't work out too well because the advice that he would give did not comfort me. He pretty much just didn't know what to say. Literally, when I had told him that I had depression, he told me to stop being depressed. And unfortunately, it's not as simple as turning off a light switch, okay? My depression is not a light switch. If only it were that simple, a lot of us wouldn't be going to therapy. I struggled a lot within that month and a half, or however long it was, and I did not find the relationship to be fulfilling. I would look at other people in relationships, look at other couples and be jealous of them, and literally forget that I myself was technically in a relationship. Yes, we would have good moments. Yes, we would have good times together. I liked the affection. I liked having somebody like me, someone attractive like me, but I had found that I wasn't all the way attracted to him. I know for a fact that if you look at me and smile at me, and it's enough to make my heart melt, then, we're already, on a good track. But because of the mask thing, how flawed that is, me flirting, not knowing what this guy looked like. Even, if the person looks good, once they take their mask off, it's all a matter of a smile. You could easily, what if you don't like their smile? But every time he smiled, I was like, this should be my joy. And it did not feel like my joy. It did not bring me any fulfillment whatsoever. And that was a problem for me. I feel like one of a guy's most redeeming, one of a guy's most attractive qualities is your smile. It just is. I like smiles. Yeah, I'm a smiles and eyes kind of girl. If I can look deeply into your eyes, just fall in love with those pools of whatever color eyes you have, and a smile. You'd be like, oh yeah, that's basically the whole face. You'd be surprised how much a smile can pull together your whole face. Eyes, there's only but so many variations eyes can have, as crazy as that sounds. Yes, we're all aware. All the different ethnicities, all eyes do look different. But I feel like if I were to pick between eyes and smiles, it would be smiles. I'm into, you smile at me, it makes my heart flutter, whatever the case is, case closed, That smile being directed at you and those eyes looking at you, oh my gosh. But anyways, I had this nagging feeling in the back of my head, you need to break up with him. But another part of me was like, it's only been so-and-so amount of time, you need to give him a chance. And then it just kept becoming a pattern every time I left him to go home. You need to break up with him. No, let's give him a chance. Let's see, as I get to know him more, that, it'll get better. And it did not. I found that as he got to know who I hung out with, I have mostly guy friends. Is it a lot? No, it is not. I could probably count the number of guys that I talked to on my hand. But I was not romantically involved with any of them that I was talking to. And he would get very jealous. And I started to feel like I was walking on eggshells. And it was very uncomfortable. The way that he had talked about how he was looking at me before, had his eyes on me, and he was like, yeah, I was actually talking to so-and-so about, how I was checking you out and how you were my work boo and how I was planning on talking to you. He had actually mentioned that he tried to talk to me one time, but I didn't hear him, and because we had the masks on, I mistaked him for saying something else, and just responded with what I thought he had said. I thought he said, he had said, something. I think he had asked me to come closer or something. He wanted to talk to me, and I thought he was saying goodbye as I was leaving because I was ready to go. I had clocked out. I was ready to go. But, that was just, miscommunication right there. But I didn't know he was trying to hit on me at that time. But the way he had introduced that he was already eyeing me before, and I happened to make a move, it was like, wow, that's a huge coincidence. That's so adorable how he had eyes for me before, because I had seen this guy at work before, and I was like, yeah, he's cute, but he probably wouldn't pay attention to me. He didn't really look like he was interested in me. It was just like, you actually were? What a surprise, that's crazy, broski, like, what? That was unexpected, and it was charming to hear him say that side of the story, that he was talking about me to his coworkers, and it's just like, I'm gonna go up to her and I'm gonna talk to her, and it's just like, I love hearing it. I'm for it, I liked hearing that. But, that charming that charm only lasted but for so long, I am proud of myself that I was able to have the courage to break up with him, because I could have been stuck in a lukewarm, mediocre relationship and hurt him or led him on, and that's not something I ever want to do. I actually was silently praying in my head for him to break up with me, but I knew it wasn't going to happen, or it would probably take an extremely long time. And the fact that I was able to do it, and I was getting such a surprisingly calm response, was just amazing to me. It was just like, not only did you have the courage to do it, but look at how he reacted. Look at how you can walk away with happy tears and not being devastated at this guy like yelling at you. There was no yelling. There was no potential manipulating. There was nothing nasty exchanged. It was just like, I understand, I want you to be happy, and I hope we can be friends. Just cut and dry. Actually, that was like probably the most mature I had ever seen him. I just found that to be crazy. He had gotten a car accident, and he had texted me from the hospital. I was completely shocked and terrified. And he was like, yeah, I totaled my car. I'm in the hospital, so I'm not going to be able to see you anymore since my car is totaled. If you want to break up with me, I understand. And I said, oh, this is an opportunity for me to break up with him, because, that does make sense. It would be hard to see him. We both don't have a car. So just take this opportunity. And I said, yeah, maybe we should break up. And then he said, I knew it. And it was just like the way that he responded. I said, why would you bring it up if you weren't ready to hear me say, yeah, we should break up? It seems logical to me. It's like, what if we, while we haven't dated that long, I don't know how I was afraid of how it was going to end up, I suppose. Who knows? And that's literally what happened to me. You don't like a stranger you can be physically attracted to. When you like somebody that you get to know inside and out, there's so much to a person and so many layers to a person, and all of that cannot be forced or rushed. End of discussion. Get to know somebody before you date them, and that's the tea.
노을 같은 너의 그 입술이 바다 같은 너의 그 입술이 내겐 어떤 별보다 이쁘지 너에게로 이어지는 기분이 Can you be my light?